Right.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Spirit Podcast. I'm so excited about my guest today. We have Joanna Cabot, and she is an amazing healer medium who offers online courses, again, healings, readings. You are mostly online, if I have that correct, but you live in St. Bart's. So, welcome. It's so nice to have you.
Thank you. I'm extremely excited to be with you and your listeners.
Yay. Well, I want to get right into it because I'm so curious well, first of all, let me backtrack. I have been following you for years, and you are an amazing potter or ceramicist. And so I really was fascinated following you years ago. You would make like little, what do you call them? Like little sacred temples. What were
Oh
you calling
yes,
those? Yeah.
the arch, I'm so sorry, I can't help you. It's sort of an arch where it has shelves inside and where you can put things in it. Altars. So
Altar.
I
Yes.
would call them altars.
Yes. And
Oh, thank
you
you.
I know. Hey, we're good mediums. We're half in the other world. That's why sometimes like human things, words, they elude us. But you have such a beautiful way with you. You're an artist. You are really good at your visuals. And so I was kind of pulled in and amazed, at what you created. And you also had,
A pendulum.
pendulums. Yes,
Yeah.
that were like dipped in gold, and everything that you made was so sacred and so beautiful. So I was fascinated when you kind of shifted gears online and switched into mostly this as a business, offering readings and healings and really focusing on that. So that's how long I've been following you. And because it's been years now, I've been watching your business blossom, and I have a lot of questions about that. But let me first ask how you knew you had these gifts and abilities. How did you know that there was something different about you in the way that you perceived energy and you could do readings?
Mhm. Um, well, I never really thought that I was different, but since as long as I can remember, I think the first memory was when I was about 5 years old. I could feel situation and people's energies, and I would know about the why, what of a situation without people telling me. That would make me a little bit uncomfortable as well at first. For example, and especially, I don't know why, but for example, when couple will separate, or different situations when someone as well was genuine or not.
Mhm.
Um, but I didn't really think anything about it, especially at that age, I would feel as well presences around the house and where we used to live. But again, it's not something that I was really aware of or that I thought it was special. Even to this day, I don't really believe that it's something special. It's something that we have within us. Some people at more levels than others, but I think I realized that we were able to connect, and I was able to connect to a different level, which means to communicate or receive message. First, it was when I was 20, between 21 and 23, I lost someone that I loved and I still love very much, who sent me a lot of signs, physically speaking, that were absolutely incredible and crazy. I'm sharing this, by the way, on my Instagram in the last post that I did. Crazy signs sent by past loved ones. And then one day I was doing a meditation circle, and the idea was to connect to the person on our left and to feel the person's energies, right? And I didn't get the person's energy, but suddenly I had the feeling and the vision of a young man around 30 something, she's young, who passed away suddenly. I saw a dog, I saw a childhood room, I heard it was the brother of, but I couldn't really pinpoint. It was receiving by like a charade, or just like keywords and feelings. And after that meditation exercise to connect with the person on our left, the idea as well was to tell the person on our left what we felt. And I had this little knot on my belly, like I didn't feel her energy. I felt this. People are going to think that I'm crazy, you know?
Mhm.
And I started to share this. Do you have a brother? No.
Mm.
Are you sure? Yes. Did you have a dog? No. Are you sure? You know, like, of course she is. But, and I said, I see a childhood room. So it feels like it's someone that is connected to you somehow, a brother energy. No, no. Well, no. And the teacher was like, it's okay, Joanna. We're going to go to the other person. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then I heard tell her about the car accident. And I tell her about the car accident, and it happened to be her brother-in-law who passed away in a car accident, and everything was accurate about his life, the childhood room, the dog, and everything. It was the first time that I realized that I was able to connect to a certain level to pass on messages.
Mhm.
And the reaction of that woman in front of me, the joy, the happiness, that very special connection was something that I felt like if I can help with this is what I want to do. And so
Yeah.
at first it was really personal and my feelings and not understanding really and not able to pass on messages. It was really something, you know, feeling presences, having feelings, knowing things about people, but never more on the psychic side. And then the mediumship developed like that.
I love that. And thank you for sharing that. And so much of developing is working through how we're perceiving things and getting those no's. So also thank you for sharing that piece because it can be, tricky to kind of trust what you're getting and figure out like a puzzle piece how it lands. So
Absolutely.
yeah. Uh-huh. So I love what you said about your perception is a little one. And what I was hearing was maybe, you know how sometimes adults will tell us they don't tell us the whole truth because, they want to not have us suffer and tell us everything's okay when it's not. It's almost like that's what I heard you saying as a little one, you're picking up on, no, there's this other truth that the adults aren't sharing with me. And
Mm.
so I love that at such a young age, you were remembering almost. And that's the name of your course. Is that correct? It's
Yes,
remembering. Yeah. Can you share a little bit about what that means to you?
of
I love
course.
the title, and I would just love to hear what you mean by that.
Sure, thank you. Yes, this course, it's the fourth edition now, and the three past edition, it was called Lift Me Up.
Mm,
The idea was to lift up people, and well, and then I went to a tea ceremony once in Byron Bay in Australia, and the person who was hosting the tea ceremony talked with us for about an hour about our essence, our connection, and so on. And he said something that really resonated with me. He said that it's all about remembering who we are, it's about remembering. And that somehow stuck with me in a very good way. And and I think again that we all have very special abilities and very special connection, and it's all about remembering. We tend to forget with our everyday life, the society in where we live, um, you know, being conditioned to believe this or that, and so on. um, and it's about remembering. I that's so I really wanted to change the name. uh,
yay.
it's the same content,
Yeah.
but the name is different, giving another impulse, I feel.
Yeah, I think it's so personal and it speaks to you because there is a remembering that we're longing for. And there is that peeling off the layers of the programming that we've gone through. And I'm curious, so in America, where I live, it feels like there's a bit of a judgment, and the programming that we have from a really young age is, oh, that's your imagination. Oh, she has her head in the clouds. Oh, we're really taught to not trust that inner voice and that inner knowing. So, you growing up in St. Bart's, having lived in France and Australia too, did you say?
Yeah.
So, what is your experience with that? Did you receive similar judgment? Did you kind of have to move through that "am I crazy" awakening feeling? Or I would just love to hear how it is in your part of the world.
Sure. Well, at a personal level, without hearing whoever is telling me what, sorry. Yeah, I I never thought that I was crazy feeling and receiving messages, but sometimes I would think like I'm crazy about the message that I'm receiving, this doubt that everyone somehow has between the ego, imagination/imagination/intuition. Um, I yeah, it's different. I feel Australia is very, very open to all
Mm.
this and respects very much. I mean, there's the culture as well that is different, huh? But respects and is the less judgmental people about all of this, and they're very connected. The history of Australia is very connected as well to the first people of Australia and the Aboriginal people and Torres Strait Islander. They're very connected to nature and to believing that there is a spirit world. So it is within the culture, within the country, and so people are very open-minded. And it's where I developed very much my abilities and the wish of doing this more professionally. In France, people are way more judgmental.
Oh,
And it's not a judgment, saying this,
right.
it's a fact. I'm French, so I can be as well. They're more close-minded around all this. However, what's interesting is that in France, the history around spirits, mediumship, um, psychic, and so on is very strong. We have Brittany, which is a very special place that is known to have a lot of healer, medium, psychic. Um, we had Alan Kardec, who's the father of spiritism, who was French, and many other people who really developed the world of psychic healing. We have what we call magnetism in France, which is trust by hospital. Some hospital are calling. It's people who are healing via energy, but healing physically. People how to stop a burn, the pain of a headache, and so on. And people really trust this. But as soon as it's like mediumship, psychic. There is as well that culture, in the Middle Age, we used to, burn people or kill people who was into this. So, in Simbarts, we were talking about being in the Caribbean, and there is a lot of culture around um, believing into spirits and so on. With Haiti, for example, that is not so far from, and it's Caribbean as well. So with the voodoo and
Yeah.
um, and all that. So it's a little bit more open-minded. People in the Caribbean have a lot of beliefs and faiths in
Mhm.
religion, you know, but at the
Yeah.
same time, and that's what's very interesting. They're quite religious in the sense that they go to the mass, to the church. They do celebrate according to their religion, but they really believe, and they're
Mhm.
very connected into psychic mediumship.
Mhm.
So yeah, but anyway, to be honest, yes, I had some people who, but I don't care. I know
Yeah.
what I'm doing, and I love what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
so.
Good. Thank you for sharing all of that because it is so different so many places. So that's interesting when you were talking about the healing being more acceptable in France and that being a part of the hospitals. That
Yeah.
blows my mind because I feel like we're still a little bit far from that here in the US. Um, and I know you also offer teaching healing and doing healings, and it's called ashati healing. Is that right? So can
Yeah,
you share what that is? I'm familiar with Reiki,
yeah,
and that, but tell me a little bit about Ashati. I'd love to hear.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you. Ashati is an amazing protocol. It's really beautiful, and it can be, well, for everyone's different, but it can be miraculous in the sense that you would feel in the sense that you will feel almost instant difference within your energy. So it's layered a little bit like Reiki in the sense that is Ashati 1, Ashati 2, and Ashati 3. Huh? But Ashati 1 is very much focused on the mental. It's going to really help at a mental level, helping with limited beliefs, limited goals, false goals, mental chatter, and so on, gaining more clarity, less blurry energy and so on. The Ashati 2 is very much around the emotions and the emotional layer on the aura. So it really helps with past lives, traumas, emotion luggage that we have as well, that is belonging to that belongs to us and belongs to others as well. And then the third ashati level is about spirituality, and I think that's different as well with Reiki and other protocols. It's really working on our spirituality. It's a big word, but very at enhancing our higher senses, developing our psychic abilities, and our connection with, the universe, which allows us to trust much more into our intuition, the signs that we are receiving, and so on.
Mhm.
It's really a beautiful, beautiful protocol. It has been created by a Frenchman named Jérôme Vaudel in Australia about 10 years or so ago. And it's fantastic. And once you have Ashati 1, 2, and 3, you can pass an Ashati teacher certificate and teach to others if you want to, voilà,
Mhm.
spread it. But also you can be an Ashati healing practitioner that is
Mhm.
recognized worldwide and enable you to work under an insurance, which I think is very important, a legal
Yeah.
insurance. Yeah.
Oh, I wish we had that here in the hospitals. That would just be so amazing, and fingers crossed one day. We just have to work towards
Hopefully.
that. Yes, I
Yeah.
know. Absolutely. So I love following you on social media, and I encourage all of the listeners today to go follow you because you really do share so much of what you know and share so much of what you've learned, and I love that. One thing that I noticed you talked about recently on your Instagram was burnout. And I'd love to hear how you navigate doing this work that requires so much of you. How do you take really good care of yourself?
Yeah, sure. Um, Thank you for asking this question. I think it's important because not everyone, but at some point we can all be overwhelmed.
Mhm.
Um, I did burn out because there was a lot of transformation. I was changing country, separating from the dad of my daughter. Um, my daughter is staying with me, which is the most amazing thing. But at the same time, it can be, a little bit challenging trying to do the best possible I can do. And so I felt that personally, I was not taking care of my energy and of me. And like any work, at some point, it's too much, but especially when you're working with energies. Um, and yeah, it's kind of what happened. So today I'm back slowly as well into a routine that allows me to protect, cleanse my energy, which I wasn't doing much during this transformation because it was a little bit too much, or I wasn't doing it the way I should have done it. But I think it's important to every day have a spiritual hygiene. It's like a physical hygiene, and I like to say that anything that you do within your higher senses and the spirit world is just a mirror of your physical life. So sometimes we don't do it perfectly 100%. So the idea is to try your best. So it's like a physical hygiene. If you start stopping taking your shower, taking care of you physically, well, at some point, you don't feel well within your body and your mind. And I think that was happened at a spiritual level and so on. So I get back to a good spiritual, if I can say, hygiene. Yeah.
And that's such a important like gift to give yourself because nobody's gonna do that for you. You have
Yeah,
to do it for
that's
yourself.
for
But
sure.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's see. You also post a lot of rituals, and I adore that. And I think that's so fascinating. And I wonder, what are your favorite? Do you have certain rituals that you find that you go to or that help you? Also, perhaps that help with anxiety or the anxious feelings that can take over, especially here in America. A lot of us have anxiety with the current.
All
Um,
over the world, I guess.
yes, yes, yes. And
But yeah.
so, yeah, what do you have to share on that?
Of course. So the ritual that I like the most, now don't get me wrong, I love crystals and herbs, and I love to use tools. I love that. At the same time, I love easy, clear, quick, grounded rituals. So I don't think I'm sticking to hours and hours of ceremonies and, with a lot of protocols and rules. But I'm following simple rituals that are grounded and that we have in France. We really do believe in rituals in France, using salt, sorry. Um, of course, herbs, a little bit of crystal, but that's pretty new in France, to use crystals and so on.
What would
Um,
you use the salt for?
Alors, yes, for protection and
Okay.
cleansing. Okay. So when I feel that there was an argument or some sadness or any energies that are stagnating that are not necessarily positive, I like to put salt in the four corners of my room, and it does absorb negative energy. When I feel that is within me, that I need to clear myself and get a little bit more aligned, and that's, I can feel sad or not in the mood or not aligned, I like to put a bowl of salt under my bed that would absorb as well. And I do feel the difference very much. I don't, lie to myself and having a sort of a placebo effect. I really do feel it physically and mentally. And I would encourage anyone to try, why not? I mean, it's not complicated and takes literally 2 minutes, but
Yeah.
you really can feel the shift. Now, for grounding rituals, I do something that is very simple. I have the chance to live in the Caribbean, so I go in the ocean and I allow myself to have a day off and to go to the beach. That really helps me ground myself. And if you don't, you can have a big, bowl of water enough, big enough to plant your feet or to put your feet in it, and with salt and water, Himalayan, sorry, salt and water that would like help you cleanse and ground yourself. I love tea ceremonies as well. That would go for an hour, 40 minutes, an hour. But that's very simple. It's drinking tea in a way that is a little bit special, but grounds you very much in silence and presence. I was talking about that man that was talking in a tea ceremony, talking about the remember. So yeah, of course, if, burning, dragon blood, some resins, frankincense, helps as well, shifting the energies. Um, and
I'm burning one right now, the dragon,
dragon's
my
blood. Here
fave.
you go.
Yes.
Yes. So
Uh-huh.
um, that's and then so protection and cleansing. Then you have some rituals for financial abundance where you have cinnamon, honey, and you do some protocols and prayers, and other types of. I think what's very important in the ritual, you have rituals that you can follow on, and you have many resources. Um, but the symbolic of things. So, honey, apple is the symbol of love, but of growth as well. So using tools that have that symbolically or holds the energy for your ritual. Yeah.
Mhm. I love that. I think sometimes people get turned off by some of the rituals here because they can be perceived as like witchy or
Yeah.
dark. And so I love the way you present them in such a positive, light way, and that it's really for everybody. Yeah.
It is
Mhm.
absolutely, but
Yeah.
we do rituals every day
Right.
without yeah, even thinking about it. I mean, some people call it a routine, but to cleanse your body or to feel pretty or to feel good, people they have rituals. They wake up, they would have like a glass of water with some lemon. They would do their like beauty routine. Alors yes, it's called a routine, but in a sense, it's a
Mhm.
ritual
Mhm.
as well. To honor your body and
Yeah. And
time.
especially if you're treating it as sacred, it
Yeah.
very much is a ritual. Yeah. I love that.
Absolutely.
I want to circle back to some of what you were saying when you were talking about living where you are now. And I don't remember if you used the word gullah or voodoo. It kind of sparked in me wanting to talk to you and ask your thoughts on dark energy, negative energy. How do you feel about that? Is that something that exists to you? Do you just protect yourself in a way that you kind of don't even have to deal with any dark entities or anything? Can you share how you kind of navigate that and what your perception is?
Sure. I do believe again that the spirit world is a dimension that kind of like mirrors. Have you seen Interstellar?
Yes.
Okay, so you see at the end he is like behind the library and well, we're not gonna, sorry, talk about the end if anyone wants to watch the movie, but um so the other side, you have people that are good, that are bad, exactly like us. There is as well something that is important is that at some point everyone goes to, it is believed that everyone goes to the same, whether it's up or, higher in another dimension, and that we understand as well our mistakes, our lesson, our, growth, and so on. Um, I but I do feel that when there is light, there is dark. There is a balance. Okay, it's one of the spiritual laws that I believe in, and I personally experienced dark energies, entities being around. I don't. Different mediums have different point of views, whether that entity feels stuck, whether it's their free will to be here. Sometimes in houses you can feel that there's a presence, however, it might be residual energy. But I do feel that I really do believe in black magic. I really do believe in psychic attack. I really do believe that we have entities that are not here for our highest good. Is it personal? Not necessarily. It can be an entity that has anger, envy or jealousy, not necessarily towards us, but when they were living here on Earth. Some mediums feel that it's not an entity, but the shell that they have left when they went somewhere else. Uh, I don't really care who it is, what it is. It is. And what I care about is how to deal with it,
Yeah.
that it doesn't bring negative energies within, around, and so on. But yeah, I do believe. Okay, so the way that you protect, people are, that's a big question that people are asking me as well, like how to protect your energy. And it's not, I don't, how can I say this? Yes, doing a protection ritual once a month can be useful, but I think it's an everyday, discipline and consistency. And no, I'm not doing it all the time on everything, huh? So, but I believe that discipline and consistency will very much help you. It's like when you start, working on something or a hobby or anything like this, you will get better at
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
with time. So if you do, even just with a little prayer or a little affirmation or the intention, believing as well, like I'm protected, I'm open to everyone around, but I have my boundaries.
Mhm.
That every day you say that, well, if your energies are higher, you will still feel those energies, whether they're dark or not, but you won't be as much as affected as if you're not protected.
Mhm.
I have to say that I've experienced black magic and psychic attack, and I'm every time I'm thinking the amount of people that are under this and have no idea about it. And so it's I wish people knew, and I wish people knew better of taking care of their energies and be a little bit more connected to themselves and the spirit world, because many things can happen because energetically speaking, it's not good.
So, what advice would you give somebody if they came to you and they said, I feel like I'm being attacked? I feel like there's a negative entity around me. What do I do?
uh, There's many things that you can do.
Mhm.
Uh, First and foremost, if you don't really know what to do, or if you don't have trust in what you're doing, because this is important, if I'm doing something I don't trust in,
Mhm.
you don't put the energy in, so it works. So if that person doesn't really know what to do, and I'm not saying this to promote myself, but go and see an energy healing practitioner. Okay, they would be able to help you cutting cords, protecting your energy, and so on. Otherwise, the affirmation prayers, bringing your energies on a higher level is important, because what is happening when you have negative energy around you? Everything is energy, okay? It transforms, it transmutes, and so on. Though, if it affects you, it means that your energy is at the same frequency and at the same level of that negative energy. And it's like everything and everyone. When you meet someone and you're not at the same, when you're different, something doesn't click. And it's because of that difference, okay? Whether it's whatever it is. Energetically, it's the same. So if you keep your energy high enough for
Yeah.
that energy not to come, um, it will help you tremendously. Now, it is challenging because what happens before you see and you feel the influence of negative energies, you will start feeling tired. When you are the victim or under the influence of negative energies, the first thing that happens is that you start feeling tired. You start
Mhm.
feeling bit more floppy. You start having like they bring the energy down. And then there is that thing that happened. So
And do you think, what do you say when people might ask the question about maybe they smoke marijuana, maybe they drink? Do you think that lets any kind of negative anything kind of come in? I don't know what experience you have with that when
yeah,
people ask. Hmm.
it definitely brings your energy down.
Yeah.
So it's ground to let any negative energy to come around, okay? And it's definitely bringing your energies down. Um, and it's an open door
And
to
you know what?
something.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, but in saying this, you know, w- of course, it's important to have a certain hygiene when you connect with others and yourself.
Mhm.
But be who you are. If you start becoming someone you're not, you won't be able to connect neither to yourself, neither to others. Um, of course, there are some extremes, with alcohol and drugs, and I'm not encouraging people to be open to this, but be who you are. If you want to like go out, drink a bit, smoking a bit of marijuana, do it. Even cigarettes, whatever. There's no judgment. The key is balance.
Mhm.
Okay. Of course, the key is to take care of your body, but it's okay
Uh,
step by step. Be who you are. That's important.
And I really love how you said that, and I say the same thing. It's kind of like in the real world. We're not putting
Yeah.
ourselves in situations where we're in scary scenarios with people who are very dark or we don't trust. And so the same is true of the spirit world. It's kind of like how we are, it's very similar to the physical world in that way and what we're attracted to and what we do. So thank you. Um, what has doing this work, being a channel, for years and years, what have you learned about the spirit world, or what's something that you can share that the spirit world has taught you in your growth in this work?
Many things.
Yeah. I know.
No. Uh, um, sorry, I'm trying to
Yeah,
find
take your time.
a right example. Um, there are two things that I think that were the most important for me. Um, it has helped me being way more conscious and aware uh, around of others and others. I'm way less selfish,
Mm,
and I'm way more conscious about others, which makes me way more conscious about myself.
mhm,
We are all connected. We are truly all connected. Um, and and when we find back that connection, and I do find it a lot during the readings, what I think absolutely incredible, and maybe it's you think the same as well, it's that for an hour you are going to connect and share, you know, light and dark, really, with someone that you've never met before. You don't know. You have no idea if you're going to see them again, but it's very strong and very genuine and very true. There's no ego here. We are giving some, each reading is giving me something, has a message for myself. And it's a very, it's a unconditional giving, receiving in those sessions. And that is something that is very beautiful. So being a little bit more mindful, aware, and conscious. Well, of course, sometimes you sleep and sometimes, and it's okay. We are human, and that's good that we do. It kind of like shows you where you need to realign. And then the second thing that the spirit world showed me without a doubt is that all the answers are already here.
mhm,
But unless we are not ready to hear, unless we're too busy to see, it's not that, some people are telling me, uh, actually, a lot, not some. I don't see the signs. I don't know if it's a sign. They're trying to look for it, to look for an interpretation, and telling me I'm not receiving signs. If you're looking for it, if you're attached to that, if you have an expectation, as if like that is very important, the sign that you would receive is going to give you an answer, but keep your free will.
Mhm.
Think, be conscious of like your choice, I really do believe that there is a free will, even though some things are written. But once you have this capacity to see the sign and feel guided without just holding on to that sign that will give you that answer, that's where you are going to receive. But all the answers are around, all of them.
I
That's,
love that.
yeah.
Thank you. And what's kind of common here is we say people are often like, is that a sign? And, if you think it's a sign, it is.
It is.
And
Yeah.
also, and then they say, oh, well, I'm going to wait for a signier sign is the way we kind of say it. They need something that's going to be more impactful.
Confirming the sign.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I know it's spirit is subtle and spirit is, it starts out as a whisper and people kind of, when they're opening up to it, I always describe it as like, having the magic of the fabric of reality become visible when we get
Mhm.
the and receive these signs and kind of wake up to receiving them and learning and growing. So
Yeah.
thank you for your perception on that. Um, what would you say to somebody? I feel like a lot of people who want to ask a medium a question or want to learn something, one of the common ones is, what is the other side like? What is heaven like? And I know in doing this work, we get some little glimpses, we get some knowings and understandings. So, what can you share on what the spirit world has showed you about that?
Yes, thank you. It's a very interesting question because I do feel, and that's amazing, by the way, but I do feel mediums may have different opinions on it. And even though some people have experienced near-death experiences, who really went there and came back, like it's like that, we've done some test experiences and amazing mediums came back with similar experiences and from the spirit world. But to my experience and what I understand, um there is another dimension where the soul exists with their it where the spirit of someone exists with the memories, with the knowing, with the support, with the love. Um, Through past life regression experiences and the mediumship reading, I do feel that you're very, like, kind of like sucked in into another dimension. Really, you're sucked in into another dimension and you instantly feel a sort of a freedom and as if like there is no hanging on or sadness, wanting to like stay and so on. Uh, but I had experiences of entities that were not completely ready to go either. So, there is always this like open door to what exactly is happening because there are some mediums that really believe that some spirits can be stuck, and I respect that beliefs. And some others, like myself, think that they go, but they have the free will to come back whenever they want to. And that's what you can like feel as well. Um, but it's a bloss a I would say blossoming. I don't know if it's the right vocabulary, but it's a beautiful place. That's what I felt. It's a peaceful place where everyone is. It's nice. It's a nice place. That's what I feel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there's something about it that feels like my perception is there's something about it that feels like that's home,
Yeah.
and the soul lives on.
Yeah.
We survive. I feel like that is a little repetitive in readings. I'm alive and well.
Hmm.
No?
Yes,
So, yeah,
absolutely.
that's
I
a
agree.
beautiful thing too.
I agree. 100%.
Not that we all understand it or understand the science of it exactly, but
Yeah,
yes.
I
Uh,
agree.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, this has just been so lovely to connect with you and chat with you. I feel like we could talk a lot longer. I really appreciate your time and tell everybody where they can find you. I encourage everybody to go follow your social media because you share so much of your expertise on the subject and they can book a session with you. You're currently accepting clients, right? For readings, healings. Where can they do this?
Yes, of course. Thank you. First and foremost, it was amazing to talk with you, and I definitely feel that I was ready for another hour. But thank you for this opportunity. And so, to contact me, you have my website www.holisticselfspace.com, my Instagram at holistic.self.space, and I'm reopening my calendar for September around the end of August. So every month I open my calendar for the months to come. And so, yeah, I'm always very open to, talk about anything. So I really encourage as well people to never hesitate if they have any questions or just want to say hello, to send me a DM. I always personally answer, and sometimes not within the minute,
Yeah.
but yeah, I love the connection that I'm having with people. So, yeah,
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. I'll link everything in the show notes. And again, it was just so delightful to chat with you today. So thank you.
the same. Thank you, Pearl.
Bye.